Hi, welcome to a very special episode of Straight Talk, where we're going to be discussing apprenticeships and diversity. Welcome again to Mr. Safaraz Ali, who we have previously spoken to on social justice issues and on business matters. Today, we're going to be concentrating on the Bame Apprenticeship Awards, where the shortlist was announced last week on YouTube Live and LinkedIn. Mr. Safaraz Ali, as you know, has been passionate about driving societal change, whether through connecting like-minded individuals and businesses or within the community. So welcome back, Safaraz. How are you?
Thank you so much. It's been a while. We've had it seems like a spring break, but it's been a lot longer than that, by 5-6 months, I think it's been.
Yeah, I think we both got very, very busy with business and our other projects are ongoing. How have you been?
All right, not too bad. I went into the field of podcasting, which is a completely new territory for me, and something called Canny Conversations podcast. If you do get a chance, a bit of a plug there, if I may, Dr. Riaz, and that's that we've done the first series, and we're now going into second series. Let's see how that goes, but
Yeah, I
very good response
earlier, and there's 10 episodes, and it covers a range of topics. And I think the one that I've just listened to is Are Leaders Made or Born? So tell me a little bit about that one before we
Yeah, I mean, leadership, nature or nurture, and we talk about skills and skills development. And coming from a skills background, there's certain things that you can learn, and you look at certain people's traits, and you've got your knowledge, skills, and behaviors. And what we're talking about is really how do you become a better leader, and what does leadership mean? We all think we know what leadership is and what good leadership looks like, and everybody's definition of leadership is different. And I checked on Amazon. I think 6, 7, 8 months ago, and there were millions and millions books on leadership, and it's a title that every year hundreds of thousands of books are coming out, and it's a subject that's been there for say 7 decades, where the conversation's been fluid and regular, and everybody's got their viewpoint on what good leadership looks like, what is leadership, and you talk about servant leader and leading from the front and leading from the back, and leadership is about building your team, or leadership is about you, and so forth. And all of this is, none of this is wrong. It's just really trying to focus and bring to the surface some of those thoughts and viewpoints. So that's one of them. But there's, as I said, there's a number of topics, and if you do get a chance, Canny Conversations podcast is on all of the platforms, and any feedback would be welcome. And that's me done for the plug.
Like I said in introduction, we're going to be talking about apprenticeships and diversity, and it's very much about focusing on the work that you're doing at Pathway Group. I'd really like to hear some more details about it, the background information, the history. How did it come about? Because as we're emerging out of a pandemic, it's very much about here in Scotland addressing some of the gaps and in the workforce. And I'd really want some information about how you've done it in the past and what your plans are now for the future.
So there's two separate things there, if I may. I mean, one is our my day job, which is the Pathway Group, and we're a workforce development skills provider, and I've been working in the sector for over 20 years now. When we started off working with asylum seekers, refugees, pit money, ESOL courses, teaching people literacy, numeracy, functional skills, those sort of qualifications, and then moved into getting people a job, a better job, and a career, what we call ABC. So we've gone from that to sort of really now slightly higher level qualifications and tackling in-work poverty. And that's only tackled really through skills development, which is what we focus on. And apprenticeship is something that, as an organization, we got involved in 2012. We became an apprenticeship provider with our own direct contract. Then since 2012, we realized that, particularly from the community that we represent and where we were based in most of our activity, particularly in 2012, was in the West Midlands area, Greater Birmingham, and that mix of areas. And what we found was that, if you look at the local population, we had many people from the British Asian community. From the British Asian community, we've got a lot of young people potentially. So, from a representation of young people, there's, the British Asians are, with regard to apprentices and apprenticeships qualifications, uh, very few, very few. And what we found was that people were proud to go to university, knew what university is, understood university, and parents' aspirations were for people to go into university. But then we also had a great many people who were left by the side and not in any employment. So a lot of needs, not in education, employment, or training. And apprenticeship was seen in some cases as for people who have no choice. And we wanted to really get that message across to say, yes, we've talked about the first person in your family to go to university, but we need to change the culture where people are proud to say, I'm the first person in my family to have an apprenticeship program, or to go on to an apprenticeship program. That was our sort of focus, and to really rebrand the word apprenticeship, particularly with the British Asian community. And so, the way our thinking was that, we feel that we need to do this is to actually have role models, to celebrate, to recognize the talent and the diversity among the few apprentices that were from the British Asian community, to really lift and create those as role models. Because our belief is still the belief that the best way to sell an apprenticeship program is via apprentices themselves. So this was our focus. Asian Apprenticeship Award started in 2016. It was on the back of, at that time, it was the Sajid Javed was the former business secretary. There was an aspirational target, BME 2020, to say, we want to increase the number of BME background individuals to going into apprenticeships by 20%. Figures with that as well, there was overrepresentation in university, overrepresentation with needs, and underrepresentation in terms of good, solid apprenticeship programs. And that was a journey that we started in 2016. We kept the Asian Apprenticeships name until 2019, and then rebranded as the Bame Apprenticeship Awards back in 19, and we've been operating as that. But we've got a whole ecosystem that we operate. It's not just about awards. We've got this Bame Apprentice Network. We've got the DEI, Diversity, Equity, Inclusion Pledge, and there's a whole range of things that we're tackling within the sort of diversity agenda, but focusing really on apprenticeship diversity.
And how has the mindset changed since you originally started out? When the focus was on imbuing apprenticeships with that value, do we have those role models in industry that are willing to come back and speak to people that are considering taking that apprenticeship route?
Absolutely. We still got a long way to go. I mean, it's a journey, and we're not where we need to be and where we should be, but it is a journey, and we can see the starting point of the journey. You talked about right at the beginning the fact that we had the finalist list. We had more than 300 people, young people, well as apprentices that are 50 plus as well, age, from the Bame community, that were nominated, and from companies which recognized companies, recognized names, as well as micro businesses, SME businesses, regional businesses, as well as the big national, multinational organizations as well.
Okay, so talking about the apprenticeship awards, and now that you had over 300 applications and you've shortlisted them, when will the winners be announced? Tell us more about that.
So that's going to be, so we're currently, we've got a date in the diary which is end of September, but we're currently thinking that hopefully we want to have that as a live event. That's the plan.
A really comprehensive range of applications from across every sector. That's wonderful to know. Thank you so much, Safaraz, for sharing that. And hopefully we get to talk before the event goes live. But any last words? Because I think this is the one thing that I actually enjoy towards the end of each section that where we speak, is that you always give us your words of wisdom. And I always take that away thinking, like, how can I apply that in my day-to-day life?
I mean, I've sort of touched on it. It's about knowing yourself. And I think what happens is, if you're talking about career, we sometimes go for the easy option. Easy option in some cases now is becoming university. So, for a young person, and I know apprenticeships aren't just about young people, but as parents, as when you're talking to a young person, they know that they've got their sort of 4, 5, 6, 7 years mapped out. That's the easy option for them. The more difficult thing is really understanding at the earliest opportunity where you want to go to, and really trying to get to that destination first in terms of what is my end, where am I looking to go for. You can only do that by really understanding your own sort of strengths, your weaknesses, what you like, what you're passionate about. We've still got too many people, and it may sound completely wrong for me to say this, that too many people, particularly from the Bame community, British Asian community, that are going into university without really much thought. There's just too many of us. We've got to see, we've got to look at that university route to say, is that the right thing for us? And what are the alternatives? Is there a better alternative? And I think the quicker we can have those conversations to say, apprenticeships aren't about a second choice, but it's an actually alternative choice, and we start being promoting the fact that we've got somebody in our family who was the first person to become an apprentice. Then you'll start seeing an even keel with regard to representation. So it's not the same words of wisdom that I normally do, which it is, but on this particular subject here, we've got to be more aware.
Absolutely. I think what we should also re-emphasize is that taking on the apprenticeship route does not mean that there is not a qualification at the end of it. I mean, there is day release, etc., to build up your qualifications, whether that is at college or whether at university. So there's different types of apprenticeships that young people, or not so young people in some cases, can take.
Yeah, I mean, I mentioned the fact that we've got individuals 50 plus, 60 plus. I mean, one of our oldest apprentices that I've looked at, and again, it's not one of ours as a provider, but on the government website, it's somebody aged 78. They're an apprentice, so it happens. It's and lifelong learning. We talk about it, but we've got to start applying it and understanding it, and really reframe what we understand by apprenticeship and what we understand by these workplace opportunities.
Thank you so much, Safaraz, for taking time out of your very busy schedule to talk to me, and I look forward to talking to you in the not so distant future. But take care, and thank you once again.